What's going on, world? It's your boy Kuya. This is the NRW Nerds Rule the World, and I'm excited to have an infusion of creativity because today I have filmmaker, director, writer, all the things, Saray Guidetti. She's fresh from Blacklist. As of this recording, she did the new episode in conjunction with the NBC Female Forward program. I've had a pleasure of speaking to other previous participants of that program, and I'm honored to talk to you today, Saray. Thank you so much.
Yay, thank you.
So it's all about being in the room where it happens, right? To give a quote to Hamilton. And as a filmmaker, creative myself, you know, to just want to get into this industry is already a struggle, right? But then to tack on, I'm a person of color, you're a Latinx, you know, to throw that in the mix, and then to be a female identifying, you know, is even harder as females. So shout out to NBC for putting together this great program to help with making things happen. And so how has that been for you? First off, when, like, if we can, like, take it back before we get into like directing Blacklist and just what it did for you, but just you've been in the business for a while, and then to get part of this program to help you with your career, how was that? Like when you got the call?
The hustle is real.
I feel you.
You know, I've been coming. First of all, I've treated my career as a marathon. I think that I'm the kind of person that wants to know everything, hence my background, right? Like I right out of film school, I came into the corporate side, right? Working at Touchstone Television, which is now ABC Studios, which is now Disney Entertainment, whatever it is now. So I saw big picture. Then I worked on the production side. Then from there, I'm like, I was working on Castle, and there was this producer director, Rob Bowman, who was such an artist, and I'm like, I need to like get close to him. How do I do that? I would hang out on set, and he lived in post, and that was a big reason why I moved into post production, because you know I sat with him, and we talked a lot about like retelling the story or shaping the story in the edit. You know, because you are sometimes trimming for time. How are you going to, you know, keep that story together? How are you going to elevate it with the take choice, right? So I think that that all of that has like shaped me in becoming, you know, the artist that I am, or the filmmaker that I am, in making that decision. I'm like, all right, it's time. Last year was pivotal for me because I had worked on Supergirl for 5 years as I was an AP on that. Then I did the Dead Boy Detectives pilot, and after that, I'm like, okay, retiring. I think it's time. I got to bet on myself, and you know, I always like have this saying, like wherever your attention goes, energy goes, right? And I know that it's the saying is out there in many different forms, and I'm a big believer in that. So I had to bet on myself, and however hard that was, of like, how am I going to make money, right? I'm like, well, I'm a producer. I can figure it out. So I did a lot of short-term work, and my gosh, like I think that when you make that commitment and bet on yourself, things happen, because that's when I got into the NBCU directing program last year. I got that call, and it really did start with like having that short film that I did, Lady Justice. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but that really is the one that opened doors and kind of had a lot of people eyeing me, right? And there was one of the program directors that was part of the NBC launch program that had seen my work, and I think that it was probably because of him that kind of put me to the top of the list of the selection process. So yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I love it. You love to see it. You love to see challenging yourself, making. I know for myself with this pandemic, that's the reason why I'm behind the camera right now talking to you. Is as a filmmaker, you know, work wasn't happening, so I was like, you know what? Let me spotlight other creatives that are doing it to give them shine and kind of mix it up in that way. You just find your lane, right? Yeah. So, you love to see it, and congrats again.
Yeah, and thank you for doing this. It's amazing. I think that we do need to amplify, you know, our voices and have, you know, pretty much like there's no more excuse for how many you know, people of color with talent are out there. There's a lot of Latino directors, you know, people of color, Black directors, Asian directors, producers, whatever it is, right? Like they're out there. So thank you.
Oh, definitely. Thank you. So, but as you know, we as our spirits and ancestors tell us, no matter where we go, we still got to work hard and learn. So you get into the program. What was that like, shadowing some of the creatives there, and then getting to do your own episode of Blacklist?
Yes. The program is incredible. First, I know that it's changing. It keeps evolving every year. But the last year it was like a month workshop with legendary directors Bethany Rooney and Mary Lou Balai, who just gave us their wisdom and their take on how to direct, right? And they have an amazing book that really helps in understanding TV directing, right? On the shadowing part, they had no idea, but they assigned me to shadow John Terlesky, who happens to be a mentor of mine, and someone who was there for my first short film. Sat down with me and gave me advice. So it was very, like, again, with the energetics, right? Like, once you make that decision, everyone from either your past or new people are going to support you, and it was great having being able to shadow him, because he was an open book. Like, I'm like, John, what are you thinking right now? Or what did he just tell you? Or what did he just tell him? So it kind of like, sometimes when you're shadowing people, you take a step back and you don't want to bother them too much, right? And you're trying to feel them out. Like, I knew John and knew that he was going to be open with me, so I was very fortunate with that. And it was like, seriously, like a master class on efficient directing. With the Blacklist in particular, literally you have 7 days of shooting for the episode, which is not a lot of time. So you're trying to figure out, like, how am I going to have the least amount of setups to be able to get this right? Am I telling the story in like this one shot? And you have to leave the ego of, like, and I'm not saying that it's ego, but like more of like, of course you want to do like fancy camera moves, your first one out. But I think that the most important thing is the story and making it to time and budget. So as a producer background, I definitely wanted to, Laura Benson, who's like a beast of a producer on that show. I'm like, I'm here to, play ball, whatever you need me to do, whatever I can or can't do. Like, I'm not going to give you trouble.
I love that. Did you have to like compartmentalize for yourself because you have like that producer background and you're trying to, move into this directorial, which you already have experience, but you're learning through this program to like, okay, I got to shut this off and concentrate here.
Absolutely. Especially like the producing, right? Because it's just like, is this getting done? Is that getting done? And I'm just like, just stop. Like, I had a great team. I had an amazing first AD, Lita Blank, who just was just like, she had my back. DP Mike Caracciolo, like, he also, like, he was so chill. He's like, Lita eventually told me, he's like, yeah, we didn't really have any worries with you. Like, because you have that as a first time director, you have certain people like, oh, are they going to be able to pull it off? But I think that knowing that they were very supportive and believed in me, that I was like, okay, I can turn this off and I'm just going to focus because I know that everything else is getting taken care of. So yeah, it was awesome.
Awesome. So you've learned some lessons. We now get into directing this episode. What can you tell me about this episode of Blacklist that you got to put your fingers into and make happen into the world?
Yeah, I was really excited about this episode because there were some of the characters. My second shadow assignment that I did with the program was Mahesh Pilor's episode, 1013, where they introduce the characters of Hudson and Dorf. So that was really exciting to be able to see that into my episode. It's like, you're still having that jeopardy of like the task force of being in danger of being exposed, closed down, or whatever it is, and Red not wanting to help out, and that frustration of Cooper, like, not knowing how to move forward. So I was definitely excited about that because I also had not only that, like, them going to head to head, Panabaker and Cooper against Dorf and Hudson, but I also had a lot of really nice emotional moments with Red and Dembe, with Red and Manny Soto, and so that was really nice also because like I was able to we were able to kind of ground it in like what's at heart, what are these relationships that we're working with. I also get to introduce a new character, Blair Foster, which is the name of the episode, played by Francie Swift, and Francie Swift was just a godsend. She is. I adored her. She was just so easy to work with, so professional, so talented, and getting to be part of the introduction of such a badass like character, even though she has some, she's in a way the villain, right? Like, but you also are excited to work with complex characters in that respect because not even villains have a soft side, right?
Totally. I love it. Well, Saray, this is a pleasure to talk to you. I can't wait to see how your career is going to just skyrocket even forward. I love what you're doing, because not only with this Female Forward program, you have your advocacy with the Entitled Women's Project, as well as Dissolve to Evolve. It's like you're all about supporting the community and doing it with your work. I love it. And I can't thank you enough for your time to just talk about with what you're doing now with Blacklist and then where you're going forward. And I'd love to have you back as those projects come along.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Let's keep talking.
Thank you so much. Everybody check out the Blacklist. As of this recording, it'll be out. It's the new episodes are on Thursdays at 9:00 on NBC. You can also catch it on Peacock like the day after, I believe. Saray Guidetti, thank you so much. Truly a pleasure. It's your boy Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World.
Thank you.
Awesome.
When I first read the pilot, I said, I can see the next 10 years. But the getting there is complicated. I'm Raymond Reddington. I run the most intricate, lucrative criminal operation in existence.
He's a confidential informant.
Former blacklisters want revenge.
The blacklisters will be coming after Raymond. That just sets up a stage for a war we've never seen before.
I'm going to be the end of you.
This is only the beginning.
10 years of a story that's rare.
Keep it all so interesting and on the edge. That makes for great television.
I feel really grateful to be part of the final chapter.
We've been creating an ending. So we're on borrowed time. And so's Ren. Live like you're dying, am I right, Harold?